Dr. Tracy Thomas, welcome to Listing with Leaders. You are the CEO and founder of The Empire Company, found at theempirecompany.com. It's a good thing to have the microphone in front of me.
Yes.
How are you today?
I am fabulous. I'm really excited to help bring some upgrades to everybody and just help everybody get to a top level.
Well, thanks. I know that you have your psychologist, is that correct?
I am,
Okay.
but don't hold that against me.
That's your PhD. That's your PhD. Good. Give us the backstory. How'd you get started in the business you were in today of transplant?
Yeah. Well, I have always been a top reality maker, and ever since I was a little kid, I don't think I even really thought of myself as a kid. I was just always doing what I could to just make reality better for people. And I had a really great experience where my dad started a family company, which is now a 47-year dynasty. And I just love to be alongside him all the time, seeing his creative capacity as he built something that was propelled by taking care of yours truly here, taking care of our family, and really following in these entrepreneurial footsteps that his dad also was an entrepreneur, and neither of us got to know him, unfortunately, because of an accident, but really following this trend of entrepreneurialism and just deciding to be really creative and original and create the things that aren't there yet. And so I've been on a path through the corporate world, applying all of my methodology that I do. And then about 11 years ago, started my own company and really took this marriage of psychology where people come in feeling like there's some sort of a problem and really turning that on its head and just programming them entirely for the reality they're wanting. And so it's an exciting way of living my purpose, and it's really a lot of fun.
Wow. So what gets you excited in the mornings? Get up and go to work.
Oh my gosh. First of all the upgrades that come in each day that we all get to receive, that's what's really exciting to me, because if we all think about what goes on in a given day, especially when you are really operating at your top level of consciousness, it's incredible what awarenesses that you get and what opportunity there is throughout every day to take anything and just make an upgrade of it. So that excites me. I also love to get up every day and dance. And so I am a ballroom dancer as part of my reality. And I just get so much intelligence that comes into me. And I'm mostly excited all the time to share it, so much that sometimes I have to say, go ahead and take it on in first, Tracy. You get it in here, and then it'll go out to everybody.
Wow. So when you're talking about upgrades, what kinds of things you're talking about?
Yeah, where we all get these awarenesses all day long. And sometimes we feel great and we feel in flow, and that's an awareness, and that's a feeling that often when you feel it, you start building on it. And then a lot of people, unfortunately, spend a lot of time down in the lower frequency. I'm thinking that there's some sort of a victim to that, when in reality, all that's present there is that opportunity for them to take whatever they're experiencing, put their intentions into it, use that fuel to create exactly what they're wanting. And I just always see any part of reality as an opportunity to make an upgrade or receive one from someone, like being on here today and getting to, receive your awesome wisdom and presence.
Thanks.
So yeah, that's every day has got tons of upgrades in it.
There's upgrades or lessons that we can take and learn and grow from.
Yeah. And let me add this to say, everyone, that because the way that I'm designed, and I don't know if all of you know very much about human design, and that there are different types of human formatting. And there's different humans that are called manifestors, different humans that are generators, manifestor generators, and then projectors and reflectors, which are only 1% of the population. I'm what's called a projector, and I'm 22% of the population. And projectors are the newest format of human. They came around at the end of the 1700s. And that's because we're always adapting and advancing and evolving this genetic vehicle. And so my language, as somebody that came in with the human design to make everything simpler and easier and done with more intention rather than more effort, all my language is very technical program, because we're coding a reality. And so language like upgrade, it also maps to this new world we're in, where everything is technology, and puts us more into what's already happening. So if we think about it, everyone, you'll go do a software update on your phone so that you get the latest and greatest capacity that maps to what's going on in the world. That's the kind of thing that doing upgrades on yourself, that's what that's about.
So let's go, you talked about four types of humans, a projector, reflector, what were the other two?
Yeah, manifester,
Manifester.
manifesting generator, or sorry, manifester and generator, and manifesting generator.
All right, let's go through these. We've talked about the reflector. What's the reflector?
Yeah. So the reflector, this is the true 1%. A reflector is a being whose entire design is to take in what it is that's going on, evaluate it. They're like these samplers. They're sampling reality, having an evaluation of it, and knowing where the upgrades are. And they might not all reflectors probably use that language, but that's their role. Whereas a projector's role is to take any part of reality, anything that's occurring, and to transform that to make the reality lighter and easier. Literally, projector's role is to do upgrades.
I got it. And then you have the manifester, which sounds self-explanatory. These people make stuff, they manifest stuff.
But what their role very much, they are the starters. They are the people, because not everybody, they're actually not the finishers. They are the starters of the reality.
So we can analogize in the startup world. So this is the founder who gets a company started, but then you're going to have a seasoned CEO come in to finish it.
That's right. And those are the generators.
Okay.
And or the manifesting generator, which came, like, if you think about it, what was needed for us to evolve as a species, at one point we needed everything to be about force and grit and industrializing and building all of this stuff that now we have way too much of it. But so generators and manifestors, and then manifesting generators was the next format. And so that makes up about 75% of the population. And generators are the only ones, believe it or not, everyone, that make their own energy. They, in fact, are the motors of society. They're the people that work, will work to the bone, and their entire identity is that they've got their Energizer bunnies. They can just go. Manifestors, projectors, and reflectors do not make energy. They upgrade energy, or manifestors start the energy flow. Projectors upgrade the energy flow, and reflectors say, how we doing?
How do we know what we are?
If you guys want to pull this up, there's a friend's website you can go to. We don't put this on ours, but it's called myhumandesign.com.
Yeah.
There's tons of them, but this is the one that I like. And it's going to have you put in your birth date and time and place, and it's going to tell you what your design is, and because that is also going to show you the different type of DNA that we have in that design. And you can also if you want to go to my website, theempirecompany.com, and look at about Dr. T, look at about me, it'll show you all about my projector, what is essentially projector DNA. And
now how does this help us understand who we are and what we do, and help us upgrade our lives?
Doug, it's so important, because if we are trying to work against our own design and not living our design, and as people are all so desperately trying to find their purpose, because when you do live in it, there is no effort. You were designed this way, right? You literally are imprinted with something that you're here to do and a certain way of doing it. So when you are actually knowing your design and living your design, I find that this really relaxes people, like, oh my God, yes, I'm a generator, he's a manifestor, whatever it might be. And it helps people know how to collaborate together, because each of these types are in families and systems for the special purpose that they bring to this reality.
Mhm.
So when you know what your own design type is, it also just puts you in the flow. It puts you in your most receptivity to success, because otherwise, if you live outside of your design, you're kind of creating an uphill battle, and then everyone around you is unfortunately experiencing that.
I've never quite heard this concept around human design before. Where did all this come from?
So this comes from a gentleman, a really lovely person, Richard Rudd, who I am just so grateful for. He is one of these people who received a calling at a certain point. He decided to just follow what was being directed and guided through him. 3 days this guy went downloading this entire design framework and just allowed himself to be a vessel of it, because it was so intricate and so much explaining something that humans needed to understand. And so he's what is referred to like as a channel of this framework.
Mhm.
And it's really been, I don't know, maybe about the last 10 years, people have been really aligning to understanding this. And there's groups, just evidence, there's groups like Projectors Club and Manifestors Club. There's that exists in the world where people have come to understand their format and how to, again, how to be in alignment with it. So for example, as a projector, my signature is success. My entire reason for being is to create high levels of success and prosperity. That's like, and all I do is be present to something, and that's what happens for it.
Hmm.
But if somebody else is trying to have me be something else, well, you should care more about this. And I'm literally, as we all are, it's just the facts of how the factory works. We are all coming in to evolve mankind so that we completely go on the trajectory we're meant to. Each person is doing their part of it. And if they don't, that's an issue for everybody. But when you come in, you are designed for a certain amount of things to be able to happen, and essentially the human power to make that occur. Right. And so it just makes life a lot of fun, because then it's like, oh, you're a manifester, you're getting us started. Right. And the generator is going to make sure we stick the landing. Right. And the generators, they're powering all of us. And the projectors are going to make sure everything is upgraded and that we're doing it and we're having fun. Right. And we look good.
There
Right.
you go.
And the reflectors are just going to tell us, yes, keep this going, adjust this, dial that in. And that's their role. So imagine being a reflector and your job is to do that. And you've got to create a reality where you're able to live your design. That's the challenge for everyone. The invitation to create what you want to create based on what you were designed to do.
And is that what you do with the Empire Company?
It is. It is, because I am a human projector, which means I amplify things. I upgrade them and amplify them, which is also why I only put myself with people who are intending good things for our society, right? Because it's amplifying all of that to them. And so being able to program people is at the heart of what we've been doing for 11 years now. Really programming people into these high level realities, Doug, because depending on what anyone wants, that's the fun of being here. You can have a business and you can also have an empire. Whatever one you program will occur. It's just that simple. And I find that people often downplay what they really want because we're not supposed to fully say it.
Yeah, programming.
And unfortunately, what I've found is wherever somebody requires me to dumb myself down, then I can just end up dumber. So I don't want to do that.
Right.
Right. And so we really invite people to come in, like right before I was on this call with you, speaking to an 800 millionaire who is intending on becoming a billionaire in the next 3 years and hitting the 2 to 3 billion mark with a strategy that he's wanting support with so that he navigates all the way through that, right? Simplest, easiest, fastest equation, that kind of process. So at the Empire Company, we're making sure everybody is in the reality they're intending. Because, for example, if you really want an empire, but you're only talking about a business, you will have a business, and there are many successful businesses. But if you're intending a dynasty, or if you're intending whatever it is that somebody's intending, the Empire Company is all about having people only be in that reality. So the way we do that with everybody is, once we know the reality that the person is intending, and we only really make amazing realities for people, we only participate in the good stuff. It's about having the person or the team or the couple so immersed in that reality without any other, what do they call them? I can't even think of them because I don't live them. Contingencies, blah. Win series. I'm going to put that in there. That part of just really having people programmed into the reality, the higher level of reality they intend, is the hallmark of what we do. It's why we have so much fun, because we get to play in all these upper echelon realities.
So give me a client profile.
Yeah.
I've got somebody who has high wealth. Tell me about the kinds of people that are attracted to you and work.
Yeah. So people either have high wealth, or they are 100% committed to that, right? They're not just interested. They're not like, that would be nice. They know that this is their purpose. And for us, first and foremost, it is the wealth, of course there's wealth in the profile, but the real wealth in the profile is that these beings are 100% clear that they're not here to do a job. They're not here to putz around. They're really here to live out their full potential, to squeak it all out into the world and to access it as easy as possible, and then to share it so that they're making the massive contribution that we need. And they also are people who tend to know that they've got to make a bigger contribution because of all the people that are not living their purpose, which is most of the people in the world.
Right.
Right. So high purpose, intending multi-generational wealth, the kind of people, Doug, that, I think it's very honorable for people to care about their family in this moment and in their lifetime when they're in it and alive. It's a whole next level purpose for people to care about their grandchildren's grandchildren. And why we love really collaborating on these realities with these people is because the same 24 hours is happening. You can either be thinking about just getting by paycheck to paycheck, or you can be thinking, I want to create something for my grandchildren's grandchildren. And if you hang out in that and just live there and live there and live there, you'll program that, and everything that is charged with that adds to that will do everything it can to come to you.
So a lot of it is mindset coaching, it sounds like, where you're helping people develop the right kind of mindset, a very specific mindset to achieve very specific goals.
And I'll take it a step further, which is, because I'm really a purist in reality making, it's a whole reality set, because sometimes we've had mindfulness around for a long time.
Right.
This often still keeps people thinking the mind is doing all of this. And in reality, there's a whole system of you that is creating reality all the time. And more accurately, all the energy of the world in the universe is flowing through you, and whatever programming you have, it will make it. It will just take all the energy that we're all swirling in. So if you've got, whatever your great programming is that makes you the most successful, it will make more of that. But anything in your reality programming that isn't something that you want, it's being amplified every day that people leave that programming there, because the world is getting more and more stimulating. And so we take it beyond the mind and we take it into what's factual, which is it's reality programming. Because you can program yourself, you can program them, you can program all these things, or you can just simply program the reality and the holistic overall reality. And then that is essentially immersing yourself in it so that it can literally just show up because you're so programmed into it.
So I get it. So you're talking about programming reality by
going into it.
So
Yeah.
you create or imagine what the reality is that you're looking for. Like this person you were just talking to wants to be at $4 billion or $3 billion in 3 years.
That's right.
So now we develop habits of the mind and body to just imagine that reality, imagine existing
Yeah.
and what it feels like and what it smells like.
And I like to go against, I think this is part of my important purpose in this lifetime, is to demystify this stuff, because there's therapy, psychology, coaching. At the simplest thing, we are a holographic universe. It is programmed with codes. It's a reality. It's a virtual reality. And when we get more accurate that we are a system, even though there's a personality, the personality is still made up of all the design that you are. Right. And so, because we get very romantic about these things, and I am definitely a romantic, but what's romantic to me is understanding we are a system. And so if we program, which is much more accurate, we come into the world, we're being programmed from the second we are created.
Yep.
We are in it, no matter if my neighbor is way over there, but she might as well be right here. We are literally together in this entire reality. So when you're programming yourself, that upgrades your system. It's more accurate to what's happening. Just like if you watch a show that's programming you, whatever's on there. If I'm watching a serial killer, I'm like, oh, I don't think I'm going to be inviting this one in. Right. So I got to check myself. But Doug, when you really go in and everyone to this whole level of understanding, you are programmed every day by whatever you're around, and stuff you have no idea is happening. So you might as well choose your programming,
Got it.
choose your reality. And yes, it's imagination, but I'll keep it even simpler and say it's immersion. And imagine a year where all you are allowed to do in the process with us is be in that reality, and we are all completely immersively in it together. And that billionaire reality, we're going to go into the interior of that thing. We're going to live it, understand it, know it, see whatever is in somebody's programming. Maybe they get 2/4 of the way into it, and then, oh my God, but what happens now? Everybody won't like me because I'm a billionaire. Now we see that programming, right? Because all we ever need to do, everyone, is upgrade the program. Don't think I got to do this out here. You've got to upgrade the program so thoroughly that it will do you.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
The programming that does the work, and what we have to do is do the programming.
We must do it. Otherwise, everyone, the whole culture is talking about what happened back there. All you're doing is literally recreating it because it doesn't know it's back there. Reality is now. It is simply what program is running. Are you running your empire reality program? Are you running your dynasty program? Do you want to just be married, or do you want to be a power couple? Right? Do you want to author a book, or do you want to do a Pulitzer? Because we can program every one of those realities. And that's the fun too, is programming, MVP, Hall of Famer, Hollywood Walk of Fame. So all of that stuff that is so fun, and we've checked it, just so everybody knows, we've checked it and vetted that these higher realities really do serve society. Because if they were just vapid and full of ego, we wouldn't be supporting them.
Right.
Not with this gift that we have. But all of this stuff, as each human ascends, it creates a pathway for others to do that. So being fully immersed in these realities that you are intending is number one, the best medicine, and it's number one, the best way to do wealth creation.
Got it. How do you get into this business?
First and foremost, fully and totally aligning with my design. And before I ever knew human design was a framework, I just knew, to be quite honest, I always felt like I was here from the future and kind of looking around going, I'm not sure why we are languaging ourselves into realities we don't want, when literally every single thing we say, think, feel, and do is making reality. And at a certain point in the corporate world, Doug, where I just kind of had this epiphany, and I just knew what I was. And I just knew that if somebody had a reality that they wanted, whether it was moving from addiction to more wealth accumulation or whatever it might be, or replacing schizophrenia with happily ever after, whatever the reality they wanted. I just got real with myself at one point about my gift, and that it may not look like something that somebody else does, but that's the main reason for me to bring it here. That's why I'm made this way. And so, but I also got the understanding that if I became a psychologist, people would have a frame of reference for understanding that we're dealing with something of the self and gonna make some shifts. And so I went into the field of psychology from the corporate world, just wanting to make sure I could round out and know how to create a full reality. So everything from success and wealth to success and health, making the total reality of the human my expertise. And then just being 100% committed to it, everyone, right? Because there is no exact path that has ever done this exact thing before. I am literally pioneering it. And I invite everyone to really do this because it'll save you a lot. Just devote yourself to your purpose. Like, don't ever question it. Go so far into it, everyone, that you let it contain you, embrace you, and carry you through your whole life, because it's the best strategy that there is.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't be where I am today.
Yeah.
You know, my whole life is service to humanity, whether I'm working in maximum security prisons, training murderers to be peacemakers,
I love it.
or at the Congressional Budget Office, training senior analysts how to de-escalate members of Congress. So,
Exactly, Doug. Exactly. Like, because you move through each phase. And that's the other thing for everyone to get, that we are always here to move through a next ascension. And there are many of them throughout a lifetime. I find it fascinating that there's some sort of theory that somebody's going to hit. Let me go on do not disturb over here. Focus, actually. That, like somebody's going to hit 50 and then just going to be on cruise control. When no matter what, we're all here to keep ascending into more levels of potential, more ease, more joy, more flow, more understanding, quite honestly, how easy reality is, because that's the big awakening that's happening. And being able to do that for other people because you have awoken to that. And for everyone that does, there's a massive vicinity around you that is doing the same thing. And so, so glad, Doug, that you're on that same path too. I mean, this is what's needed.
yeah, I'm 72 years old, just getting started.
You are, I could see it. And what I love is you're 72 years gold and bold, right?
Right.
That's what's true. Because here's another one, everyone. Why do we use that language? Why from the time I'm 1 years old? I don't want to, why am I programming old? We could program anything.
Right.
We can, that's the thing that, maybe certain people in the world don't want everybody to know just how powerful we are, that we can program anything. Just requires us to actually decide that. So being able to expand and keep moving through a longer trajectory to this next ascension and next ascension, it's like what gets revealed in these is so fabulous. So just really inviting everybody to that.
Wow, amazing. So let me ask one more question.
Yeah.
You've been talking about your work, but what's one thing about yourself that we would never know unless you revealed it to us?
Okay. Yeah, I think I was saying it a little bit earlier, is that I realize that a lot of my life, because I was given this gift, but just needed to come to understand it. I realized that a lot of my life, I was pretending things were harder for me than they were, because when you experience things very easily and are gifted in that way, and that means you're here to help and you're offering help, sometimes people can feel that your easiness with things is a threat to them. And I subconsciously learned that and took that in my life, and realized at a certain point that the relief I felt having a team, and then having amazing clients come in where we decided we were going to make life easy together and live in that easier reality. And just the thing to know is how freeing it is when you can really be in the ease of who you are and what it does and the value that it brings and to others and you. So my upgrade is just sharing that with you and saying how easy things are, and that what I've decided to do with that is make them easy for you too.
Wow, great. This has been a fascinating conversation, Tracy. Thank you so much for your time today.